I trusted my family with everything until one phone call exposed the truth. Growing up in a tight-knit Italian-American family in the north end of Boston, where the streets smelled like fresh cannoli from Mike's Pastry, and Sunday dinners at Nona's Row House on Hanover Street were non-negotiable. Trust wasn't just expected, it was the air we breathed. My parents, my older brother Marco, my little sister Gia, and I were the Morettis, the kind of clan that showed up for baptisms, graduations, and Red Sox opening day with coolers full of homemade sausage and peppers, cheering louder than anyone in the bleachers at Fenway. After college, I moved a little west to a small condo in Somerville, close enough for weekly gravy nights, but far enough to feel independent, working as a physical therapist at Mass General while saving every extra dollar in a joint family investment account my dad had set up years ago. He called it our legacy fund. Money pooled from birthdays, overtime shifts, even Nona's social security checks, supposedly growing safely in blue chip stocks and municipal bonds so we could all retire comfortably or help the next generation buy homes in this crazy Massachusetts market. Dad handled the statements, Marco reviewed the taxes since he'd become a CPA, and I just kept contributing, blindly wiring my bonuses because family meant never having to double check each other. Life hummed along beautifully. Weekend trips to Revere Beach in summer, leaf peeping drives up to New Hampshire in fall, holiday lights on the common, until that icy February afternoon last year when my phone rang with an unfamiliar 617 number while I was stretching a patient's hamstring. I let it go to voicemail, but the message made my blood freeze. A calm, professional voice from the SEC's Boston office introducing himself as Investigator Ramirez, asking me to call back urgently regarding possible irregularities in an account bearing my name and social security number. My stomach nodded instantly. I stepped into the hallway, hands shaking as I dialed, and over the next 20 minutes, he laid it out. Hundreds of thousands missing, trades that never happened, forged signatures, the worst. I drove straight to my parents' house in Medford that evening. Snow flurries were whipping across the windshield like accusations, convinced it was identity theft, ready for us to band together like we always did. But when I sat them down in the living room with the investigator's email printed out, the room went unnaturally quiet. Mom's eyes filled too fast, Marco wouldn't meet my gaze, and Dad, steady, loud, always in charge Dad, started rubbing his temples like he had one of his migraines. The truth tumbled out in choked fragments over the next hour. Dad had been gambling for years. Online poker and sports bets that started small after he lost his job during COVID. Marco had been cooking the books to hide the losses, and they drained the legacy fund down to almost nothing, even taking out margin loans against it, hoping for one big win to put it all back before anyone noticed. They swore they never meant to hurt me, that they planned to tell me once things turned around, but every excuse felt like a slap. I sat there on the same plaid couch where we'd opened Christmas gifts my whole life, listening to the people I trusted with my life, my savings, my future, admit they'd stolen from their own blood. I didn't yell, I just asked for the login details, saw the devastating negative balance with my own eyes, and walked out into the snow without my coat. That night, I stayed in a hotel off I-93, filed reports, hired a forensic accountant, and started untangling the mess that would take years and lawsuits to fix. Holidays are quieter now. I spend them with friends in Cambridge or alone by the Charles River, watching the crew teams row while I rebuild what's left of my savings the hard way, one paycheck at a time. Some bridges stay burned in Boston winters, and I've learned the hardest truth of all. The family you're born into can break your heart deeper than any stranger ever could, especially when the betrayal comes wrapped in 30 years of Sunday sauce and shared secrets.